Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SmashBros AMA, brought to you by The Daily Dot. I, of course, am your host, Ian. You know what? Frankly, I'm going to have to come up with a different name than Double John because I hated it when Jared gave it to me. So for right now, I'm just Ian Barker. With me, of course, as always, is Jacob, professional left guy. Wolf, Jacob, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, man. Tonight, I'm going to see the Star Wars film. That is the highlight of my night, although I am bailing on the Daily Dot esports people.
How is your Princess Leia costume coming along?
It's going great.
It's going okay. Excellent.
Excellent.
The buns, the super gluing the buns to the side of your head. That shows some commitment. I'm impressed. Well, I will unfortunately miss Star Wars because I will be hanging out with my colleagues. Which, by the way, I'm not going to stop giving you crap about.
I did it last
just keep that in mind when you're at Star Wars that you ditched us. Anyway, you're not here to hear about our evenings. You're here to hear from the man himself. D1 Main Gret. We actually got that clarified because my coworker thought that it was Main Gretty, which honestly has a little bit of panache. I don't blame you for that. I think it's a fancy last name. D1, consider changing it legally if you haven't done so yet. If you're not familiar with D1, he is, of course, the second half of the D1 Prague duo of legend from the Smash, the annals of Smash history. He, of course, is a prominent commentator and also works for Twitch, working together with Smash to elevate it to a new place. D1, can you hear us okay? Are you there?
Yes, absolutely. Loud and clear. I can hear you guys.
Excellent. How are you doing this fine evening?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm super excited that I finally have some free time to actually, hang out at home and touch base with my fellow roommates, as I have about 15 or so roommates here in SoCal. It's a really big house. It's Sky, Zex, Tyrant, Zero, and just a myriad of top players and personalities from all over the video game industry. So it's pretty fun here. I'm happy to finally be able to chill out till Genesis 3. So yeah, I have like five or 6 weeks to hang out, work on some personal projects and such.
So you've basically got like the team house of Smash broadcasting talent out there in California.
Yeah, there's a lot of talented folks here, especially Zero, the number one Smash 4 player.
I'm sorry,
Whenever I have,
who?
TSM Zero.
Zero? I'm not familiar with him. Is he new?
I mean, I believe he was on the show though. Gonzalo
Wow.
Perez.
Oh, that. No, I'm kidding, of course. Well, ask him if, in fact, King DDD has gotten any better since the patch, and let me know the results of that conversation.
So far, actually, because I check patch notes religiously, since whenever it comes to commentating, you always have to be up to date with the latest patches, or you lose integrity, right? The people won't want to listen to you on the mic if you don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, sadly, for now, it looks like there's nothing significant with King DDD that was changed, but I think it was maybe the Swallow.
It was his
Swallow,
neutral special, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. Woo! Thank goodness.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a huge part of his gameplay because it's not. It's terrible. Anyway, of course, you're not here to talk here. You're not here to listen to us talk about the greatest Smash 4 character in the game. You're here to listen to D1 answer your questions from the R Smash Bros AMA format Reddit thread. Of course, if you're not familiar with the format, what we do is every Monday we bring a guest to the R Smash Brothers mod. They very graciously put up a thread. You ask your favorite questions. You up and down vote the various assortments of questions available to you, and we read the top ones every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when our guest is available to you live, so that you can hear their uncut responses straight from the horse's mouth, which is something that we're pretty excited about. D1, are you ready to get into the questions?
Yes.
Excellent.
Bring it on.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and kick it off with one of the top, I believe it was actually the top scoring question from the AMA thread. Yellow Pizza, which is not something I wish to consume, asks, you mentioned, while not sober, I might add. Let me go ahead and get this question up on the screen for you.
Yes.
You mentioned, while not sober, I might add, how esports isn't a very healthy lifestyle, and how you're hoping to change that. Could you please elaborate on that?
Alrighty. Well, for more clarification, I guess. Not I guess. I was speaking more so of Smash at the present time. How there are so many events that are happening throughout the year, and we barely have any off season. It's to the point where a lot of players, casters, and even streamers are getting burnt out, because they're constantly going weekend after weekend, event after event, and it gets really tiring. I myself had to go to the doctor in the third and fourth quarter of this year, because my eyes started drying out. Flying on the airplane so much started actually to take a toll on my eyes, and I had to go to the eye doctor and figure out why my vision was getting worse. And at first I thought it was because I'm staring at monitors all day, but no. The doctor basically said what happened was, for some reason there was some bacteria in my eyes that was causing some kind of inflammation, and my eyes were just extremely dry. So I had to take better care of myself in that regard. Got some antibiotics, got some drops, and I'm trying to make sure I eat healthier, because whenever I go to these events, a lot of times players will go out of their way to have me try out food that is native to their region, right? They're like, hey, you should try this out, you can only get this here. And sometimes these foods aren't the best kind of foods for me to actually put into my body. In 2015, let me tell you, dude, 2015, when I visited my mom, she was like, whoa, you gained so much weight. And once she told me that, I was like, all right, if mom is coming up to me and patting my belly, saying that she used to call me, a bag of bones, all that kind of stuff, in jest, of course. But the moment I got hired at Twitch and started traveling to a lot of events for Smash, I started just eating nonstop, to the point where it was really bad for me. And the moment my mom told me that I gained a lot of weight, I started to decide to work out and all this kind of stuff, watch what I eat. In any event, going back to the question, I didn't want to go on a crazy tangent. what I was trying to basically allude to is that for the future, what I'm trying to do is see if we can have a Smash Brothers scene where it's more structured. There's more coordination between all the TOs, standardized rule set, and us, the community as a whole, doing a better job of just like giving out information, right? Because a lot of people still don't exactly know who the best Smash 4 players are. So behind the scenes, we're trying to work on a ranking system. Put out a list of players, and I think it would be really great if we had a system where there was a string of events throughout the year and like an off season. Like imagine if there was something like that for Smash. I'd be elated.
I have to say, when it comes to traveling and trying different foods, I hear you loud and clear. Because have you ever noticed when you need to try a local food, it's like something with like 6,000 calories. Like you don't go to a region and they're like, try out our local salad. Like that just doesn't happen. It's always something deep fried and fatty. And I tell you what, as soon as I moved to Texas and I got into the barbecue, I feel your pain.
Yeah. So that's basically the main thing I was touching on. Like I would love for there to be a system where players don't necessarily have to attend each and every event. Instead, have a structured, something similar to what they have in the other esports, right? Where the players, they know which events to go to, the events that matter the most. And then at the end of the year, just like they have like a Worlds event, that would be really cool if our scene had that. And an off season where people get to finally relax, visit their family, stuff like that.
I think there's like something to be said. A lot of the league players have like told me, and I've also seen it on Twitter, like emergency, the like stuff you pour in a drink and drink it. Like all of them are religious emergency drinkers because apparently it like makes them feel better while traveling all the time. So if you've not tried that, or you're a smasher who travels a lot, definitely get on it because I heard it helps a lot.
Yeah,
and it's interesting.
Oh, sorry. Back to
no, you are fine. You're the man we want to hear from. So please.
No. I was just gonna say I definitely am a religious emergency drinker as well.
You're talking a little bit about it sounds like one of the big steps to creating this healthier ecosystem is something that's a little bit more structured, something that sort of unifies all the smashers under one roof. I'm gonna pry a little bit. You're in the Twitch office. You know what's going on. Is any chance you can tell just me, nobody else is listening, any chance Nintendo might be the people to usher us into that new era?
Well, I'd say the best answer to that question is if you look at all the other successful esports games, they have that first party development support, developer support, right? So it's definitely contingent on them for us to be able to usher in that new age, of Smash.
Okay, so let's say 2016. I mean, should we expect a Nintendo circuit? Are you describing the future of Smash to us right now? Once again, no one else is listening.
Well, I wish I can, but it's how the nature of the business is. There's definitely no clear-cut answer, but it's the dream, right? It's what we all want. And hopefully that is something that happens in the future. And if not, our community is self-sustainable. We've been through so much already. And big thank you to Twitch actually bringing on members of the Smash Brothers community to help guide them into finding a way to make the Smash community better. 2015 has been pretty awesome so far. And I feel like it's a pretty good indicator of what's to come in the future, to say the least.
Yeah, no, I think that that one thing that could certainly be said about Smash, that's certainly unique about it, is that even whereas Dota 2 was talking about how we really need Valve to get into the game to sort of unify things, there's really no fear that Smash is going anywhere in case that doesn't happen. I mean, I think that's one of the really special things about professional Super Smash Brothers is that nobody's saying we need Nintendo or we're dead. Nobody's saying that. It's just so robust and so grassroots on its own.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, let's. I think we've dwelt on that question for long enough. Let's go ahead and head into our next question, which comes from Upthrow Rip. Which, by the way, Upthrow Rip had a Jigglypuff icon next to their name. So I think we know where that's coming from. Upthrow Rip wants to know: as you were once a part of the PMBR, how do you feel now that they have disbanded and PM has ceased development?
Yeah, as an ex-member of the PMBR, I have to say it was with heavy hearts that I took the news about the PMDT ceasing development. I will say though that I remembered having conversations with them in the past, just letting them know how being in the legal gray area makes it really hard for them, moving forward. And I just felt like when I saw the news, I was like, it wasn't like it was a matter of time kind of feeling that I had. I felt I felt bad for them when I heard the news, but at the same time, I felt like it was inevitable. You know, some people, the way it is in that team, there are a lot of people who don't necessarily align when it comes to a lot of discussions, and that's why I had to part ways myself. So yeah, of course, I do wish them the best of luck. I know there are a lot of talented people on that team, and seeing actually Dan Fornace, I don't know if I said it right, or Fornace from Rivals of Aether, seeing him speak with members of the PMDT makes me feel like it gives me hope that even though these guys stop development on PM, at least knowing that they have a lot of talent and a pretty beast resume after working on that, they'll be able to land a job somewhere really great in the future.
So how does that, what do you think will happen to PM in the future? And do you think, even though there is no more development, I know a lot of people were talking about, now it's like Melee. The patch will never change again. We'll just adapt to whatever is happening on this patch. Do you agree with that? Do you think PM will continue to live despite the mods, pulling away from it?
I feel like this question is definitely contingent on the community. It's something that I've told people numerous times in the past. When it came to Melee, it's up to the community to support their game in order for the game to continue to thrive, right? Back then, people always said, "Oh, Brawl's taking over, Melee's gonna die." Then same thing with Smash 4, how a lot of Smash 4 enthusiasts at first, when the game came in, it got really popular. Then around Apex 2015, since there was a lot of hate towards Diddy and how campy some of the games were, some of the Smash 4 players didn't like how Melee was putting them down. And I basically told them the same thing again: repetition for emphasis. You guys have to support your sub community in order for your game to continue to grow. You can't just sit down, be a bystander, and watch everything just burn, right? You'd rather grab the hose, do something about it, put out the fire, and try your best to rebuild the community. Have writers, have broadcasters, have players, have dedicated commentators, streamers, top players as well too. They have to do their part. If they notice that their game is dying, do something about it. Spread awareness. Let people know about your scene. That way, it doesn't go by the wayside.
That's definitely an interesting topic. Bringing that up, the community having to push it, because if you look at Brawl, as soon as Smash 4 came out, the majority of your Brawl players moved over, and now Brawl is dead in the water for the most part, besides Project M. So
yeah. In order for Brawl to come back, they'd have to do the same thing. But it's going to be really tough, of course, knowing how Brawl. A lot of players that play Smash 4, some of them tell me that they actually like Smash 4 over Brawl, knowing how Ice Climbers and Meta Knight were they took over that game. While with Smash 4, there's really good balance in the game, and they constantly keep patching it. So it gives us hope that the game, will continue to stay alive. It made me happy to see in the Direct that it was actually called a competitive action fighter or something. That's a stark contrast to the last Direct. Not the last Direct, but the Direct that mentioned that Smash 4 was a party fighter. I was super surprised that they switched it up, and I almost shed a tear even. it was great to hear.
It seems like Sakurai's almost come to grips with the fact that he's created a product that is fun if you're not good at it, but can be developed to be something much deeper. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that you can have the hardcore audience. I mean, frankly, if I go to a party with a bunch of people, I can have just as much fun with it. If I go to compete at a tournament, I can have just as much fun with it. It's got this great dual role, and I'm glad that they finally accepted that.
Absolutely.
Let's actually talk about Wings of Aether for a second. Is it Aether? Is it Ether? Is it like the A and the E attached? Like
I think it's Wings of Aether.
Wings of Aether. That makes
Rivals
more
of
sense.
Aether.
Oh my god,
Rivals
I do
of
that
Aether.
every time. I always call it. Oh, you know why? Because I think of Wings of Vi, that absurdly hard platformer game. Anyway, Rivals of Aether. I think the cool thing. Let's talk about that for a second, because obviously with the Project M DT sort of going their separate way, and then Rivals of Aether is going on. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of available talent. Like you said, they have a great resume. But I mean, for the longest time, they've basically been working on their own game with Project M. Do you think that Rivals of Aether has a future within the Smash community in sort of a unique way, because it's not a Smash game, and yet it's got the same mechanics. It's extremely enjoyable. I watched like 30 minutes of Mango playing show matches the other day that I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Yeah, I myself am a big fan of Rivals of Aether. Let me see. I think that the game can definitely have its place in the Smash Brothers community. Again, this is all contingent on the community, like just showing their support for the game, right? If you have dedicated Rivals of Aether players that will go out of their way to ask tournament organizers to add that as a side event at their event, we will see the game grow. You know, it will keep on getting a bigger following. Having the main guy behind the game, Dan the Man, I believe he goes by on Reddit, or Dan Fornes, regardless, Dan,
however you say it.
Dan, he does a really good job of reaching out to members of the community and, getting feedback, which I myself really appreciate. A lot of people in the Smash community always felt like there was a disconnect when it came to Sakurai and the rest of the developers. But with Rivals, you can actually talk to the main guy. He'll reach out to you on Twitter, and he'll take feedback. Not saying that they're not taking feedback now for Smash 4, because surprisingly some of the patches have been really good lately. Mm-hmm. But Rivals, I think, can definitely have its place in the scene. The only thing that might make it hard is if people just don't put in the effort to try to help to spread the Rivals of Aether love. You have to put in the work in order for people to actually recognize it.
Yeah, Smash certainly a community game, born and bred. I think there's no question that people in this community know how to take a game if they really love it and turn it into something great. Well, let's go ahead and move forward. We've got a question from Glitch Hippie. We talked a little bit about the games, and I'll talk about your career specifically. Glitch Hippie wants to know, that time the FCC emailed Gimmer, how fundamentally did that change your commentating style? And why are they even involved? And I believe we identified before the show that was actually a troll, was it not?
Yes. If you guys look at the VOD, all you have to do is look at my facial expressions, and it basically speaks for itself. Yeah. So right there, I tried my best to just not give it away, but some people who saw me, they were able to. They were able to tell.
Look at that right there. That is not the face of a man who's facing federal action. I will tell you that much. Excellent.
If you guys don't know what the FCC is, please check it out on Google.
on the Google.
That's just not the way to answer a question.
Our producer should probably check out what the FCC. I love you, Will. All right, moving right along to Flat Zoner, which I appreciated these thematically correct names, because Flat Zoner had a Game & Watch flare on the subreddit, which I very much appreciated. Flat Zoner wants to know, what kind of notes do you bring into a top 8 commentary, if any? Do you focus on matchups, player history, or something else when you're preparing to commentate a match?
So when it comes to commentary preparation, one thing that I used to do back then when I broadcasted a lot was, before an event happened, me and the chat and I would go through the...
Thank you very. I really appreciate that.
go through all the players that were basically signed up for singles, and we, try to get as much information as possible from all these players, right? Get their name, basically their location, the characters that they main, uh, their ranking in their region, and once you get into top eight, since most of the time these are players that meet each other a lot, I tend to go to Tafo and anybody else who has statistics to see what is the matchup history between these players, right? Because I think one of the main things that we have to focus on when it comes to Smash commentary is narratives. You look at other you look at like sports casters, and they have the history of all these teams and the last time that they've met up and who won the last time and if the opposing team ever won, and if this after having such an amazing year, this team that has always lost to this one team in the finals, will they finally make it? Is this their final is this their moment of glory, that's about to happen?
It sounds like you're doing a lot of story building in the
Yes.
not less about hard stats and more about creating a narrative, as you said.
And there's like a very small lack of statistics people as well as like analytical writers for Smash, which is like, hopefully that changes a little bit more. I've seen a few that have come in, but yeah, I think there definitely needs to be some kind of content creation influx for this game because there's a lot to talk about.
Yep. A lot of the time, when it comes to content creation, people focus mainly on teaching others how to play the game, right? They'll cover advanced tactics. But I think moving forward, some of us, including, casters who always, aspire to do this on the mic, should focus on building these narratives, right? Story building, letting people know who are these guys, why do they matter. I remember there was this amazing video on YouTube. I forgot the name of the guy, but the video on YouTube basically talked about the five gods and why they're important for coming into Evo 2015, I believe. And like he touched on like Armada and how no one thought that and on stateside that he'd be able to make a big splash here. Everyone in Europe was like, this guy's amazing. US was like, no, he comes to the US and he just bodies everybody. And then he comes up to meet Mango and, the stage was set. It was like one of the best matches ever. And, actually looking at this year has been a pretty crazy one for Smash. You have Leffen, who finally had the opportunity to beat all the top five players. Or Hungrybox, who's always fought hard. Tournament after tournament, getting numerous second place finishes at usually the biggest events, finally getting a first place with like most of the top five in attendance, 3 out of the 5, and if you want to include Leffen, you could say 4 out of the 6. But regardless, yeah, there were a lot of amazing moments in Smash history, and I feel like we need to do a better job of just letting people know about that. Tafo, he has his Tafo talks. He does a pretty good job of talking about narratives and even like issues in the community that we should address. So yeah, I think after having this conversation, I should probably focus on putting more of that on my channel and also assisting Smash 4 in that regard, because whenever I have conversations with people about Smash 4, they all know about Zero. Some people know about Nairo, but then after that, there's like a drop off. They don't know who Mr. R is, Anti, the top players from Japan, so on and so forth. So
TK Breezy,
Oh,
all the top Smash 4 players.
so TK Breezy's a top commentator. Anyway,
Wait a minute.
no, he's a really good player though. Shout outs to TK Breezy, one of my good players.
One of the things that I actually wanted to ask you about, because I've noticed that with people sort of getting excited about the different tech and the different strategies in Smash, there seems to be sort of a creep in commentary towards delivering really analytical commentaries, things that really touch on the technical aspects of things. And I have to say, as a viewer, I almost prefer the narratives, the story-driven narratives, as opposed to the technical narratives. But I think there's ground for both. So what role do you think giving frame data, talking about a string of moves in very specific detail, what role does that play in commentary as the game develops?
So the way I look at it, coming into the match, that's usually the best opportunity to touch on the narratives, right? You want to, like, before the match starts, you want to give these guys a reason to want to even care about the match. Like, who knows? They want to use the bathroom while watching the broadcast, but then you build up the hype so much for the match that's about to come up that they have to stay in their seat. You want to do that. I want to do that with the viewers, and once we get into the match, and you see the two characters on screen, what I tend to do is, after we actually talk about the history between the two players, or at least the resume that both of those players have, once we see the two characters on the screen, I try to touch on the matchup, like what the viewer is supposed to expect between these two characters. Which character has a better matchup ratio versus the other, right? And what are the common tactics that you're going to see in that match? And once the match plays out, I want the viewer to keep what I said in mind before we get into the match, and then after that, see how it plays out. I'll like try to touch on the thing that I mentioned before, right before the match started. If I see it happen, right, I'll say, oh, there it is. As I said before, I won't say as I said before, but there's a perfect example of how this character, loses in the neutral against this character because this character has, better approaches, while the other character doesn't necessarily have the best punishes. Even though he does rack up damage really well, he loses to shield and things like that. And then I just want the players to know what to expect and then see it happen. And I want them to see it unfold, like, as the match progresses. So that's I think that's like the basic strategy there, and just keep explaining things that are happening there while trying to remain enthused throughout. And if I feel like during my delivery that I'm not enthusiastic on the mic, I'll try to, of course, like, let the streamer know, it's probably time for me to switch out, because I wouldn't want to continue to tire myself out on the mic.
Sure.
So, like, there's a thing to be said, right? There's so many play-by-play casters in Smash Bros. Like, how do you think that, what do you think the community has to do, or what do you think needs to change to develop more color commentators who are also a little bit more statistical and knowledgeable in the history of the game compared to the people that, cast the game and are like, ooh, ah, like, and do all the expressions? What do you think needs to happen to develop out more of those people?
What the casters would need to do is basically get together and acknowledge that is a thing that is missing from our commentary and work that into their style, right?
Right.
We have a lot of strong play-by-play casters. There are some pretty good color casters out there, but they're few and far between. And it's definitely that's definitely something that we have to work on. Thankfully, there's a Facebook group called I believe it's called SmashBros Commentary. I have to double check, but there's a commentary group dedicated for Smash Brothers on Facebook, and we always like try to help bring each other up in that regard.
And if anybody finds that group on Facebook, feel free to post it in the chat. I'm sure our Nazi mods will allow it. One of the cool things about the questions that we actually got for you is where a lot of people, when people when people talk to a player, for example, SFAT or someone like that, they usually ask technical questions. You seem to have received questions about tech, as it were, in commentary. And so our next question is from Nini Mouse 3. If I'm pronouncing
I think
that
it's
properly.
like anonymous, but mouse.
A Nina Mouse.
A Nina Mouse.
Okay, that's very clever. A Nina Mouse 3 asks, do you undertake any kind of mental preparation before you begin commentating? Are there any kinds of warm-ups that you do?
I used to do, what's it called, tongue twisters, just to help build up my diction before commentary. But nowadays, I just go in, like I'll make sure that I sit up straight and try to speak from the diaphragm. Like, one thing I learned from DM Brandon is that he basically like fills his like stomach with air, and then after that just straight up speaks from the diaphragm from there. And I make sure to always like allow like a free passage of air for me to, I stand up straight like this. And yeah, allow air to pass right through there.
Did you by chance do any like singing or choir or anything like that when you were in school?
So here's the funny story. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness in my youth, and I used to do public discourses at a really, really young age. Like, what was it, like 7 or 8? And the cool thing about that was they would actually mark you on different things that you have to develop as a public speaker. Voice modulation, gestures, eye contact. Like there's like a myriad of things that they would have on this card that after a public discourse that you'd have, they'll just mark it off. And after worship was over, the guy, one of the elders, they would pull me aside and basically talk to me about the different things that I should improve on as a public speaker, and I just carried that with me into commentary for Smash.
Nice. So you basically got a full commentary course before you even got into Smash.
Yeah.
Nice. Not bad.
The key to becoming a strong Smash caster or any esports caster is be a Jehovah's Witness, and
that's the trick. If it's like with Jedis, how they say he's too old to begin the training. Like if this point, if you weren't a Jehovah's Witness as a kid, I'm sorry, the boat's passed. But
find alternate ways to develop your talent.
Certainly, a lot of voice classes, things like that out there. If you're looking to develop those skills, well, moving right along, we've got more questions about your commentary. Main Kofigo, I'm probably butchering all these names, but I'm okay with that. Asks, you've become one of the most well-known commentators in the competitive video game community. Do you intend to, or would you take a chance to go to the next level? Perhaps partake in non-video gaming commentary, radio, YouTube, podcasts, or something of the sort?
To be honest, the only thing I'm interested in doing is anything that is Smash related. So if I were to do anything on Twitch, YouTube, any like podcasts that would show up on iTunes, as long as they're Smash related, I'll do it. Like I've had numerous opportunities in the past to, take on a job where I would be a caster in like popular esports titles. Can't exactly say which ones these are, but popular is the key word. Regardless, I turned down these jobs and decided to stick to Smash, even when Smash wasn't even where, it wasn't where it was now. Like, it was still like a fledgling esport, and I decided, you know what, no matter how good the money may look, I will only stick to Smash. I will say one thing, though. Pokken looks hype, so if I were, so if I were to do casting, I would want it to be in anything that I guess would be in the Nintendo universe, but I would never want them to fully take me away from Smash. So whatever's like, Nintendo related. Like I really love the Nintendo games. Been a Nintendo enthusiast since I was, a wee lad, and I wanted to see that.
What about Splatoon? What about Splatoon when Splatoon gets its big $6 million tournament? Are we gonna hear D1 talking about the Squids Now Kids?
You know what? I have Splatoon on the Wii U, so if given the opportunity to cast Splatoon, I would take it, but only if I do my research. I don't want to wing it on the mic. Like, perfect example of me not winging it on the mic was my Pokken casting. What I did was, prior to the Pokemon Worlds Championships event, I sat there at a kiosk for 10 hours straight, barely ate anything. I had a banana, yogurt, strawberry yogurt, and it had some granola in it. And what else? A protein bar and just like 2 bottles of water, vitamin water. I sat there the entire time with the pros, just taking notes on the game, like asking questions, taking health values, damage values, figuring out how much time it takes for assists to respawn, and just everything in regards to the game. And coming into the next day for the Pokemon World Championships, I had to work with Markman, who came in pretty. He came in pretty late. He didn't, because he had other things on his plate. He came in pretty late for the Pokemon World Championships, and he was going to be my co-caster for that weekend. And coming into, before we got live, I was a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure if he was well informed as to what was going on with Pokken, since he came a bit late that day. But I said, you know what? I'm just going to kick all the knowledge because I have all my notes and I memorized it. Like I just kept repeating it to myself over and over before going to sleep to make sure I'd retain the knowledge. And, and the next day I had all the information fresh in my head and went into that and just slayed it. Like it almost felt like I was a walking Wikipedia for Pokken.
Hey, I don't think anybody spent that much effort in an arcade cabinet since Billy Mitchell and the King of Kong. I don't know that anybody has worked that hard at a game. since sitting that high score. Jacob, your thoughts?
I was gonna ask what are your expectations for Pokken since it releases in February on Wii U? Do you think it will take off as an esport? Like, do you expect it to have some kind of support in the competitive scene?
I definitely think Pokken can actually get support. It's the interesting thing about the game is they also do numerous patches for that on the in Japan, and I've played it quite a bit in my during my stay in New York City during New York City Comic-Con weekend. Like I spent 10 days, spent $100 on 750 points worth of tickets, and played like literally every single day trying to learn everything about the game. And I feel like it does have competitive merit. And again, circling back to what I said before, this is all contingent on the Pokken community actually supporting their game, right? I was a big Naruto Gekto Ninja Tyson follower, enthusiast, and player. Follower, enthusiast, I guess that's the same. Regardless, I played the game a lot and played it in tournament. And the moment people stopped coming out to events, that's when the game died. So same thing with Pokken, right? If people actually, love the game and continue to pump out content for the game, talking about the game, hosting events for the game, it will grow. And I do think, as long as it has support as well from the developer, which if I'm not mistaken, I think the Pokemon Company does want to, support this game. We might have something good on our hands in the future.
And well, maybe this is the game that will unite Smash players and arcade fighters, as the prophecy has foretold. Maybe this is the game that will finally bridge the gap between FGC and Smash. Coming at you with sort of a hard-hitting question. We're not pulling any punches in this AMA, apparently. Galley Guru wants to know, or actually asks, a lot of people seem to very vocally dislike your commentary or say the quality has dropped over the years. How do you deal with this negativity?
So, first and foremost, one thing I realized is that this is a vocal minority because I travel far and wide for Smash, and there's so many people that come up to me and they say numerous great things about my casting, about how I got them into the scene. What I realize is that there are people out there that just long for the days where people are on the microphone and they just scream expletives left and right. Back then, I definitely enjoyed going crazy and screaming on the mic as well. But nowadays, I want to commentate with a purpose. I want people coming into the stream to notice that we're doing our best to basically paint that perfect picture of what's going on with the match for you guys, right? We want you to know who these people are, their history, who the characters that they play, what is the history between both of the players on screen, what is the matchup ratio between these characters, what you should expect in the match, just basically everything that pertains to the match that's going to be happening on the screen. That's all the information that I'm going to give out to you, and I'll of course make sure to do that with enthusiasm, of course, because I genuinely love Smash, right? Now, I know back in the day when I used to scream in the mic, there'd be a lot of distortions, and I feel like that would probably turn people away. Of course, it would be hype for the moment, but there's some people that genuinely want to know what's going on. They don't want to just hear a bunch of people screaming on the mic. So, I myself have listened to people who've asked for me to do less strict play-by-play and a bit more analyses in the as time progressed, and because of this, there actually has been less hate on my casting. Back then, it used to be like really crazy because I guess what happened was I tried to follow what sportscasters would do when it came to commentary. Just you'd have the play-by-play guy, and then the color guy would expound. I mean, that's the way I thought commentary was supposed to be. But for Smash, it seems like some people say the matches go by way too quick for you to do strict play-by-play. So you're going to have to just cover over whatever, basically like give a more brief description as to what's going on in the match, since everything is like, everything's so fast and hyperkinetic.
It's hard to take the time to break down a mango combo after it's happened because you're already into the next stock. Certainly, the one thing that I love that this is our follow up question to this. Rockstar actually brings up wants to address the fact that you're not just all about strict commentary because you are famous for yelling destruction. I mean that's a big part of the hype that you bring in. And Rockstar 777 wants to know. So what made you choose destruction as your go-to phrase in moments of hype?
So this was an inside thing that me and my New York City Smashers used to say whenever we saw something crazy happen. This was coined by Warrior Knight, and whenever you'd be playing a friendly in Queens, New York City, at his Smash Fest, he'd call them STDs, Smash Till Death. You'd basically play till you pass out at his place. Usually these happen on the weekend as well. Anyway, if ever there was a person at the Smash Fest that would just get completely wiped, like they'll just get wrecked, you'd hear him yell "destruction" like really loud in your ear, and it would make you feel like, oh, holy crap, yeah, I did get it, didn't I? And after, as time progressed, a lot of us in our circle started saying that whenever somebody got wrecked. Then, I guess I accidentally just like introduced that into commentary, and, it became a thing. People loved hearing it to the point where if I would meet people, they would always ask me to say it. But I only like to say that whenever I felt like something like really hype was happening in a match. But nowadays in this day and age, I try my best to, of course, not just say one thing the entire time whenever someone gets wrecked.
You're not saying it every time someone loses a stock, for example. Yeah. Oh, look at that destruction.
Yeah, destruction. After a while it gets old. So I still try to convey that hype, to the masses with my casting, but just using different words. I've been trying to, mull over, what's his name, Red Eye's book, Talking Esports.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, over and over again. I make sure to just keep looking over that and tell myself, all right, what's this one thing that you say a lot? Look for different words in your commentary, because sooner or later you'll become a meme. And, sadly for me, that has been a thing that people have been identifying me with, just that one word, or super fighting robot. Even though I said it once, every time they see me, that's all they say.
You could. There are plenty of synonyms for destruction. You could try obliteration.
Exactly.
You could try evisceration.
He got obliterated.
He got eviscerated. Yeah, exactly. So there's plenty of ground for you to cover. All kinds of words in that realm. So we've got our next question comes from Blarg 257, who asks, how do you proceed in situations with emotional players, like with Hungrybox at DreamHack after his win over Armada?
Okay, so whenever interviewing anybody who's like really emotional, the one thing I focused on was never taking away from the moment for that player, right? It's all about him right then and there, and I'll just as the interviewer, it's my job to get the answers out of him. I'll have to shoot him the right questions to get the answers that the people want to hear. And if ever there are moments where he, wants to express whatever he wants to express, I will not cut him off, and I'll try my best to never make the interview about me. Because if that was the case, I'll just, have my own podcast about me, and there would be nobody else sitting next to me. But Hungrybox, the man that won DreamHack right then and there, everyone wants to know what's on his mind. And thanks to me not cutting him off during the interview or ever trying to talk about myself during the interview, we got as much information as possible out of him. He, talked about how sadly his father passed, and how his father said he would never be great at something. And he was like, well, he's proving him wrong, and he hopes his dad was watching, and, all that kind of stuff. We wouldn't get that if I literally just kept cutting him off in the interview. Yeah,
it's D1 time. It's funny because you bring up something that's sort of I don't want to see it's a pet peeve of mine. That thing sounds like it actively irritates me, but there is sort of a wave in esports, and perhaps it's an anachronism of an older time, of people making themselves part of the interview, being on camera with this subject, injecting their own personality. Is that something that we're sort of stepping away from as interviews become more professional, and we start to conform? That's what I was looking for. Start to conform to a more traditional broadcast practices, or is there still a place for that in esports?
I don't know. I'm gonna strongly stand by my sentiment that we should always make it about the players there. I mean, maybe just to make it feel a bit more natural for the viewers, I'll try to make it conversational and just throw in a little joke just to make it look like, it's two homies just kicking it. But at the end of the day, I don't want to lose the focus that, it's all about the player. I'll just try to make it look as conversational as possible at the same time.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate that you do that, and obviously an incredible moment at DreamHack with Hungrybox after everything went down. Like Six Hobos, another one of my favorite. Another one of my favorite Reddit names. Like Six Hobos wants to know, you obviously have a long and illustrious career with Prague as your co-commentator. Do you think you'll ever find a co-commentator that will match the synergy you had with Prague?
Well, I mean, it's been quite some time since Prague and I actually worked on the mic. It almost feels like I don't have a main a main co-caster. I just mesh well with mostly every caster that I work with. Whenever I work with anybody on the mic, I just try to focus on their strengths and play around that. That was one thing that Tafikins always highlighted. Whenever he saw me on commentary, he said, I do a good job of trying my best to be that support caster. And if there are moments where the caster's not that strong, I'll take the lead. I'd say my favorite casters to work with so far have been, let's see, who did I work with recently? Toph. Toph has always been one of my personal favorites. He has a lot of great information when it comes to Smash. I enjoyed working with Wobbles. Let's see who else. TK Breezy and EE are always a pleasure. Both of the DCs from Florida and NorCal. Who else? Yeah, there's a long list. Juice Doom. I always loved working with Juice Doom. He's very articulate and he knows a lot about the game. And it's been a long time since I've actually worked with Wife, but he has a great voice for commentary, and I still find him as one of the fathers of the as far as commentary is concerned, he's one of the fathers of Smash commentary. And last but not least, Homemade Waffles and Phil. Like, I had opportunities to work with them too. Oh, Scar. Can't forget Scar. Sorry, Scar, for watching. Oh, and the Crimson Blur.
You're gonna hear about that one. You're gonna hear about that one in the future.
All your Twitch homies gonna hit you up. Yo.
Doors like B. No, I think I do remember that at PAX Prime, Blur and I had an amazing moment when we were watching Mewtwo King versus Leffen. That was insane. We had such a good time working together.
The King is back.
Yeah, but I mean, it looked like the King is back, but now I don't know. It's
I think with Mewtwo King, it always depends on the tournament, where his mindset is and things like that. I don't think I've ever seen a player so hard on themselves after even when that guy wins, he's not happy. To be completely frank. Well, moving on to our next question, Air Pirate 545. We'll try to get through a few more before we run out of time here, so the viewers get their voice heard. Hey, D1. You want to say hey back?
Hi.
Hey, there we go. What does your day-to-day job actually look like at Twitch?
Oh man, this is a really long question, but I'll try my best to keep it brief. I spend most of my time checking out social media, seeing what the general trends are when it comes to Smash. I'm also checking out like a plethora of emails. I'm always like circling back, trying to see which messages I've missed from people either on social media, via email, and touching base with them, seeing what people have great ideas when it comes to Smash and how should I help them moving forward. So yeah, that's the main goal with the partnerships position here here at Twitch. I think my position now is like a community program manager, and the main goal here is to touch base with all the people that have been dedicated to Smash or want to do great things with Smash and help point them, guide them to basically reaching these goals, right? If it looks like there's a broadcaster that's having a tough time with their channel, we'll touch base with them, try to see what ways can we help their channel grow. And if there's a tournament organizer that has, an amazing idea and, it aligns with what goals we have here at Twitch when it comes to Smash, we'll come through and we'll help them out. So yeah, it's all about just helping Smash Brothers grow at the end of the day. And I'm just literally talking to people every day. That's my job, either on the mic or behind the scenes. via text.
It's like there's something to be said, and it's really nice to see that you, Crimson, Toph, and Scar are all Twitch employees, and it's really nice to kind of have community heads that have really tried to push the envelope, all working in the same little field and can kind of bring everybody together. So it's nice to see.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to be said that while the Smash community is obviously self-sufficient at this point, there's no question that extra exposure is certainly doesn't hurt any esport.
Definitely
ever,
helps.
does it? Tell me a little bit. What was it like for you to get the phone call and find out that the game that you've been so passionately supporting for so long, that you're going to be put in this position where you get to help it even further in an even more official capacity? I don't want to say bigger because you've obviously lent a lot of your voice and your talent to the game, but in a more official and more perhaps financial capacity to publicize these teams and these streams.
Well, I was overwhelmed with emotions to the point where I did cry. I jumped for joy. I told all my roommates, and they all took me out for KBBQ here in SoCal. Yeah, shout outs to Sky Williams for that. He was like, "All right, this is a time for us to celebrate." So we got all the roommates together, got a bunch of cars, and we all drove out. And we reserved a pretty big table, had all the roomies there, and we were just celebrating. I had a lot of soju that night. I was pretty excited.
I still haven't had Korean barbecue. Am I missing out? Is it that good?
It's pretty excellent.
Is it awesome?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to try that.
You would love it.
I'll have to find a place where I can give that a shot. Next question. Not a pace abuser. I don't know what that means. Wants to know. I've noticed that you seem to be commentating more of Smash 4 than Melee as of lately. From someone who became well known in the scene for commentating Melee, do you ever miss commentating it sometimes? If so, are you planning on commentating Melee top 8 at any upcoming majors?
So here's the funny thing, to not a pace abuser. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of the people that comment on Reddit don't really watch all of the broadcasts, because if you look at 2015, I commentated MVG Sandstorm Melee top 8. I've done top 8 for MLG in New Orleans at DreamHack 2015. At Paragon, I did commentary for top 8 for Melee. There are actually a ton of top 8s that I've done for Melee throughout the year. And I guess what it is whenever people notice that I do Smash 4 top 8s over Melee top 8 when Toph and Scar are there, they take that up as me just not wanting to do Melee, when this is just not the case. The way I look at it, Toph and Scar are strong casters, right? And they're great at Melee commentary. They don't really know about Smash 4. The tournament organizers, recognizing this, they basically have me where the need is great. So if Smash 4 doesn't have the strongest casters there, they will have me there to fill in that top 8 position. And that's basically what it is. If a tournament organizer tells me, "Hey, D1, we're giving you Smash 4 top 8, I'm like, okay, that's totally fine. I'm not gonna get upset. Yeah, the only time that I actually gave up doing Melee top 8 was for Evo 2015. And one of the main reasons for that was because I was really sad that the people on Reddit were just so harsh to Prague. And, they as far as, knowing that he was going to be on the mic. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what? As Prague said, he'll do what's best for the community. And if he feels that he's not fit for the mic because he hasn't been doing commentary for Melee for a long time, he'd rather not do it. I myself don't mind doing Melee or Smash 4 commentary, but if I notice that there are strong casters there, like Toph and Scar, I'll bring them aside and I'll tell them, hey, I think it would be great if you guys were to go on the mic for this, and I'll help out with Smash 4 top 8, because I do live with a lot of Smash 4 pros as well. Having Zero in the house helps me out a ton when it comes to Smash 4 commentary.
Sorry, who?
And TSM Zero.
I'll have to look him up.
Because of this, it helps me. It definitely helps me. It helps me feel more comfortable doing Smash 4 commentary. And here's the main reason that I actually want to do Smash 4 commentary. I feel as if not enough people know about who the Smash 4 pros are, and I did already a good enough job at introducing a lot of people to the Melee scene, right? So why not help do that for Smash 4? Why not help bring more eyes to Smash 4, since a lot of the Smash 4 pros were Brawl pros that were neglected, and people didn't really care much about them because they weren't Melee. Once Melee got really popular, so I said, all right, with Smash 4 coming in, here's another chance for me to at least help these guys gain more popularity and get the sponsorships that they deserve. Look at people like Nairo, Zero, and others who've been picked up by big teams because of their skills in Smash. And I want to continue to help bring visibility to the Smash 4 pros, since right now all the people know who the Melee guys are, and it's only fair now for the Smash 4 pros to also get the same love.
Do you feel like, in Melee there's a very big staple of strong casters? Do you feel like that's going to develop out for Smash 4 as well? Names that come to mind would be like yourself, E, and TK Breezy, but anybody else that you think would kind of fill into a staple?
Well, I definitely think a lot of people sleep on Sky as a caster. Sky, he lives in this house too with a lot of Smash 4 pros, and he plays the game a lot, and he knows a lot about the game. So I feel like Sky is another person that people shouldn't sleep on when it comes to casting. Juice Doom, he puts in a lot of work. Gunblade has been working hard to get up there. The both of the DCs from NorCal and Florida. Melee does have a lot of casters because, I guess, Pierce. Actually, wait, let's go back to Smash 4. Pierce, JV, Neptune. There are a lot of Smash 4 casters out there. It's just that you don't necessarily get to see much of them since they don't get many opportunities to get flown out for these events. But I hope that changes in the near future.
Well, excellent. Well, I mean, obviously, with a rising tide lifts all boats, as I like to say, and anybody that can bring the entire Smash community, raise it up, raise the bottom line is certainly welcome, I think, because, there's really nothing wrong with growth. Welcoming more people and showing them what we got here. Certainly not going to complain about that. Last question for the night, actually, before we close up shop. Tropius2 wants to know, do you think the whole esports part of Smash was required to keep the game alive, and where would our scene be if we were still grassroots?
I definitely feel like our scene getting more recognition from esports teams, from publishers and developers behind the game and such, helped us get more visibility. Imagine where we'd be if we didn't have the big tournaments, like having us there. Like Evo was a big help. I wouldn't necessarily say Evo is a place where you see, it's not like an esports event, it's mainly an FGC event, but having any wait 1 second, let me gather my thoughts. Allowing us to having esports teams or just the publishers and developers doing their part to give us opportunities and to raise us to new heights in Smash actually helped grow our scene. I feel without esports, we'd probably still be able to grow Smash, but not at as fast a rate as we are now. That's basically it.
Yeah, certainly, and it's been a great opportunity to see what the community is capable of as it's sort of been accepted into the esports fold. The esports fold, actually, as Tropius 2, yeah. As Tropius 2 phrased it. D1, before we take off for the night, do you have any closing thoughts, any shout outs you'd like to give before we say goodbye?
Well, I'd definitely like to give a shout out to Twitch for being our surrogate mother for the longest time in the Smash Brothers scene. They really done their part to reach out to us and help bring visibility to our scene, and to even go to go even further and add members of the Smash community to their team shows us that they really care about us and they want us to grow. So I'm definitely grateful to Twitch for doing their part when it comes to helping grow Smash. And of course, to all the dedicated Smash enthusiasts, players, commentators, broadcasters, and the like. Big thank you to all of them for helping Smash grow, because we wouldn't be here without them. Everybody has done their part. Even that one viewer that probably never came to an event, you count as well. You are the reason that we are here today. Why Smash is so big. So I give a thank you to everybody.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, D1, for coming by the show. Had a great time talking to you, and look forward to seeing what Smash can accomplish in the future.
Alrighty, well, keep your eyes open for 2016. Hopefully, some nice things happen.
Here's hoping. All fingers and toes crossed. Certainly on my end. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us tonight. We probably won't be back next week. Actually, I can confirm that we won't be back next week. I'm actually not sure when we'll be back with another guest, but we'll be sure to keep you posted. Follow us on Twitter at .esports, and you'll be able to catch up on that. Also, check out the r Smash for the subreddit. They're gracious enough to throw us a bone every week, and we're obviously happy to send some traffic their way. A lot of great community members over there. If you like the show, hit that follow button. It's over there in the corner somewhere. Check us out on Twitter, like I said, .esports, also on Facebook, daily.esports, and also on YouTube, youtube.com/daily.esports. That's going to do it for us here tonight. I have been Ian Barker. This has been Jacob Wolf. We've had a wonderful interview with D1, and we will catch you next time.